Okay, now that we have MetaTrader 4 downloaded and we have our Clover Forex demo linked to our MetaTrader 4, we need to understand how to navigate MetaTrader 4. There's a lot going on here. You see at the bottom you have 5 tabs, and inside every single one of those tabs you're going to have something different to do. So I figured we would just start with settings. So if you come over here to settings, this is where you're going to be able to see which account you're on. So if you click here, you'd be able to add your live account, which is the same way you did the demo. Just if you've deposited money into your Clover Forex, you will get a separate login, and you would hit login to existing account Clover Forex live. Then if you come back here to mailbox, you're going to get things from MetaTrader 4, and really none of this stuff is too important. If there's any updates, it'll come into here. And you'll have news, so you can select categories, favorite news. I don't really have anything set up because I don't really pay attention to the news in here. I use separate applications for that. Then you have this economic calendar, which is going to take you to this trade dates. Also, do not use that app either. I use a separate application for my economic calendar. You have your chat messages, trader community, account monitoring, trading signals, your one-time password generator for kind of like a two-factor authentication. You have your interface, charts, journal, and settings. Honestly, none of this really matters. Your main focus here is going to be charts. Inside the chart, you'll see 3 options: bar chart, candlesticks, and line chart. For the sake of this video, we're going to stick with candlesticks. Most traders you watch, if you see the videos that they're posting, and if you see us post a screenshot and drop it in the Discord, we're using candlesticks. You'll see volumes, the ask price, period separators, and trade levels. So if we were to turn on the volumes and come back here, you could see on the chart the green bars. Then if we come back to charts, you could put your ask price line on, and that will show here. That's the ask price. How much does it cost to buy this currency? And then if you turn on period separators and come back to chart, you'll see that each one of these is the day. Then you come back to charts, and then you can turn on trade levels, and if we were to place a trade, they would show up on this chart. So for example, if I come here and type in BTC USD, for example, I have to use a cryptocurrency because we are in the weekend right now and I can't trade standard forex pairs, indices, or commodities. So if I hit trade and I just hit sell on a 0.01, you can see the trade is running. Click chart, and you can see where I've bought it. It says sell 0.01 right there. And if we go back to charts, you can change your colors. These are the settings that I use. You also have the green on black, black on white, other than the custom, which is what I have mine set to. You can change these colors to whatever you like. If you were to come in here and change your bull candle to, let's say, blue, hit save. If you come back here to chart, you can see that bull candle is now blue. But for the sake of things, I like it to be green. So come back to chart, you can see that candle is now green. So now that we've gone through settings, let's go through history a little bit. So because we don't have any trades active or any trades that have closed yet, nothing is showing other than the initial deposit of that $1,000. So if I come to trade right now and I swipe left on this Bitcoin trade, I can click the check mark and hit close with loss for 40 cents and come back to history and now see that this trade has closed and it has taken money from our account. We lost 45 cents. Down here you can see that we were charged 5 cents for placing that trade. Depending on your broker you use, there is charges that apply with entering a trade. So for a 0.01, it is a one-time charge of 5 cents. We lost 40 cents on the trade, so the total loss is 45 cents. So our account is now sitting at $999.55. That's basically all you're going to do in history. It's literally just going to show you your trade history. If you come into custom, you can select dates if you want to see, like, hey, how did I do the entire month of April? I could click here, hit OK, and it'll show me the month of April. Obviously, we didn't do anything in April, so it wouldn't show anything. So if we come back to the day, here's where we'll see that. In trade, you're going to see your balance, equity, margin, free margin, and your margin level percentage. I'm not going to get too much into margin, but just to explain for the sake of what's going on, you will see balance, which is the total account balanced based on your closed trades, and the equity is the total account plus or minus your open trades. So just for example, let's make this a bigger trade just so we can have some sort of idea of equity. So you see our balance is $999.55. My equity, though, is different because I'm currently down $63.70. My equity is what is left of my account based on my open trades. My balance is the total account with my closed trades. So if we close this out, just leave this like this, you can now see that my balance is $890.77. My equity is $890.77 because we have no floating trades. My free margin is the amount of money I'm allowed to lose. In a sense, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna go too much into it, but if we come to history, we can now see that that Bitcoin trade has been closed. We have a total loss of $109.23. Now, let me show you this. So if we go to quotes, we go to Bitcoin trade, sell by market. Now, if I swipe to the right on this, I can hit the check mark, which will close the trade. I can edit the trade by clicking this little pencil, and this is where I can input a stop loss and a take profit. So since we're in a sell, let's just say we want to sell it down to 26,000, and we want to stop out of the trade at 29,000. We hit OK. Now you can see that this S/L is 29,000. That's our stop loss. Our take profit T/P is 26,000. Our swap, we have not been charged. A swap fee occurs when the end of a trading or when the day changes. So if you're Eastern time at 5 p.m., depending on your broker, you could incur a swap fee. Clover does not really charge taxes, but they do apply a charge based on the size of the trade. So now if we move on to chart, in the chart, you have a couple different options. So right now we can see that my trade is open. You see my sell 1.0. My stop loss is up here. If we zoom out a little bit and scroll to the left, you can see my take profits down here. We can change the time frame that we're looking at the chart. So if I hit D1, that stands for the day. So that means each one of these candles. So you see we have a red candle here. That is today. The candle before that is yesterday. The candle before that is the day before, so on and so forth. If we change it to the 1 hour, now the candle at the end is the hour that we're in. The candle before that is the hour before. So at the top of my phone, you see it's 12:30. So this is the candle for 12 o'clock. The candle before that would be the candle from 11 to 12. The candle before that would be from 10 to 11. And it just kind of shows price action on a different time frame, which when you're building strategies will help you to form a better entry point, form a better stop loss, form a better take profit, because you can see price action a little bit better on a smaller time frame. Now, if we come to this function, we have some options here. So if we click main window, you'll see all these different indicators that you can use. So let's say you want to use a moving average. If you select moving average, the period is how many candles that it will be the moving average of. So let's say we wanted to do a 50 moving average. You can select simple, exponential, smooth, linear weighted. I mean, you might want to take a Forex course to understand what all of this is. I'm not going to go into it, but just to show you the options you have, you can apply it to the close of the candle, the open of the candle, the high, the low, so on and so forth. And in your levels, you can add levels. Like I said, I'm not going to go into all of this, but then you have your style. So you can pick the color. Let's say I want to do a light blue. And the pixels is the thickness of the line. So if you do 1, it's going to be a very thin line on the chart. If you do 4, it's going to be a very thick line. I like to do 2. So hit save. We'll come back. So you can see that we now have this blue moving average. If we come back up to here, we could add another one if we'd like. So let's say we want to add a 200 and make it orange. hit save and done. Now you can see that we have an orange moving average and a blue moving average on the chart. You can also see under here we have the relative strength index, the RSI. If you wanted to delete that, you could just swipe left on it and hit delete. You could come to oscillators. So you have momentum. So there's where you see the relative strength index. Let's say if we wanted to add volumes to the chart. So we have a volume up. So if bulls are in the market and they're buying, it'll be green. And if bears are in the market and they're selling, it'll be red. I can click done and it'll add that to my chart. If I want to adjust the size, I just hold down on the line and I can drag up and down on it. There's so many options you can pick. So if I wanted to add another thing on top of the volumes, I could add, let's say, the relative strength index, hit done. So you can see that that blue line, the RSI, has overlaid itself on the volume. If I wanted to make those separate, I could come here and delete this. Click main window and add the RSI. Hit done. Now you see I have the volumes and the RSI separate from the chart, and the RSI is now separate from the volume. So you have a lot of options, a lot of things you can play with here. If you click this square, triangle, circle thing up here next to the function spot, click that, you can start to add objects to your chart. So let's say I wanted to add a line to my chart. I can click this line and then move it if I wanted to place it at the high, if I wanted to place it at a low, if I want to draw a line here, I can start to do a vertical line and say, hey, right at this point on this X right here, price started to move up. So if, for say we come back into the zone, I want to place a certain type of trade. If I want, I can add a Fibonacci retracement zone. So I can select here and drag it down, and I can add Fibonacci to the chart. I know it looks like a lot's going on here. You don't have to have all these things on your chart. I'm kind of just showing the options of what you can do with your chart in MetaTrader 4. So if we come back here, we can delete all of this and just have a clean chart with no indicators. And you can see that we just have the chart and the candles itself. So the last thing you can do on charts is click trade. And this is where you can select what pair you want to trade. You can select what type of trade you want. So you could set a buy limit, a sell limit, a buy stop, a sell stop. If you want to place a 0.01, or if you want to place a 10 or a 1.0 or a 0.1. These are all things that we'll go into later in the series, but for now, I'm just showing exactly what you can use and do in here. If I wanted to place a stop loss like we showed just previously, I could say, hey, I want to sell Bitcoin right now, so I could set my stop loss to 29,000 like we have, and my take profit to, let's say, 26,000, and hit sell. That's done. So we've just placed another sell. So let's move on to quotes. So inside quotes, you have, this is where you're going to see the pairs that you want to trade. Now, if you click this little pencil up here, you can select all of these and delete them. The reason I can't delete Bitcoin is because I currently have that chart open. So if I unclick the pen, then I'll see just Bitcoin and the rest of those pairs are gone. Now, if I move over into this plus, you can click this, and with Clover, this is going to look different for every broker that you're using, but with Clover, we have a lot of options. So you have your Forex majors, your Forex crosses, you have your different cryptos you can trade, you have your Forex exotics, and these are, a lot of exotics are like emerging markets, like the South African Rand and the Danish Krone. And if we move into metals, I can trade copper, I can trade silver, gold, and then .pro is like different spreads and different charges. I can trade platinum. If we come back into here, into energies, we can trade natural gas, Brent oil, crude oil, mini. So we can see we can trade the Germany 40 mini, we can trade the NAS 100 mini, we can trade the S&P 500 mini and the US 30 mini. With these, I like the minis because the minis really give an option for new traders with not a lot of money to be able to take some bigger trades and not have so much risk on their back. You can start to trade some stocks. They've got Apple, Amazon, Boeing, Bank of America. There's not many options here, but because we're trading on a leverage account, the amount of money we make on these is much different than the money that I would be making if I was to buy the stock on Robinhood. So we can trade European shares, and then you have the majors. So you can see Forex Pro Major, Forex Pro Crosses, Mini Forex, and futures. So the Pro, like I said, it's just different charges, it's different spreads. VAR, same thing. Mini Forex, you can trade all of these like I was talking about earlier. The Mini is going to give the option to new traders with not a lot of money to be able to take larger trades with minimal risk. And then you have futures. You have the dollar index future that you can trade. So that is straight just the value of the dollar in itself. You can trade that if you think the dollar is going to go up. You can buy the dollar index if you think the dollar is going to go down. You could sell the dollar index. So just for example, all you do to add it is hit this plus right here, hit done, and you'll now see we have the dollar here. If I wanted to trade, let's say, the NASDAQ 100, I can hit the plus here. If I want to trade the S&P 500, I can hit the plus here, hit done, and now we'll see the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 on our charts as well. If I want to view them on the chart, I just click it and hit chart. So now you can see up in the top left corner, we have NAS 100 on the hourly chart. I can look at the NASDAQ 100 on the daily chart. I can look at NASDAQ 100 on the monthly chart. So that's really it to navigate through MetaTrader 4. It might seem like a lot, but as you use the application and start to dig into it and start to play around with things on your demo, you'll really start to get an understanding of how things work and why they work that way. All right, that's the end of this video. In the next video, we're going to go over understanding what our trades mean when we send them to the DeFi DaVinci Discord, and then how to take that trade inside of MetaTrader 4, how to exit the trade, and how to set your stop losses and take profits based off of the charts and pictures we post in the DeFi DaVinci Discord. I hope this one helped out. Thanks again for watching.